Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and today we're talking all things on the go. So, I noticed with the fall release with the Happy Planner that the Skinny Mini is back. Yay! I actually really love the Skinny Mini for an on the go planner. And, I was considering buying one. I, in fact, went to Hobby Lobby with my daughter over the weekend and saw two of the Skinny Minis in person, and they are just so adorable, so cute. I did not buy it, so let's just say that to begin with. I didn't buy them, either one of them, but they were so cute. Really, I would have bought one, but it was on full price. So I'm definitely going to wait until it's 40% off for the Happy Planner if I even buy it. But I also decided that for the two at Hobby Lobby, it had the dates on the covers. I'm not a huge fan of having the year on the cover, just because that means I can't use it for anything else. So that was one of the major reasons. The other major reason was it was full price. So I did come back after coming from Hobby Lobby or going to Hobby Lobby with my daughter. I came back home and decided to kind of look through all of my stuff to see if I can put together an on the go planner. I'm going with the theme here. Go look, window shop, see what inspires me, and then come back and try to use up my supplies. And so I have done that. One of the things that I have used for quite a while is this purse. It's actually a cash envelope wallet that is a crossbody. So I have made some updates to it. I'll post a photo here, but basically, this thing was super beat up. I loved this thing. I used it, I would say, every day for a solid year, and so it was really scuffed up. And so I did take a little bit of nail polish, black nail polish, and just kind of painted it. And so on camera, at least, it does look a little bit better. So it was like scuffed up. It was all like showing the whites, the white edges, and it was fraying. You can still see that it's kind of fraying, but it looks much better. And then the strap, the crossbody strap, was showing a ton of wear and tear. And so I decided to replace the strap with another strap that I had. Of course, I have tons of purses. So I picked up or like pulled off the crossbody strap from another purse. I actually wish I had done this ages ago because this one is so much easier to get on and off the clips. So this makes it much easier for me to convert from crossbody to wallet. The previous one was so difficult. You can see it's kind of like pulling up. Well, that's probably because of like weight too, but it is so much easier to get on and off, so I can convert it from wallet to crossbody back and forth a little bit easier. So that was the first thing, was just trying to see if I could find a purse that would fit the skinny mini that I was thinking. So that was the first thing, and I did find it. I did update it, and so I'm happy about that. Then I decided to go in here and take a look. And so I've already kind of set it up. So let me just show you a little bit of the setup. So it right now is completely empty. Of course, I empty out all of my wallets when I don't use it. But the first thing is I have this planner. I do have one for 2025. For some reason, I searched pretty much high and low, like tore off, like looked everywhere, and could not find my 2025. But I do have a 2025 planner that's just like this, and I use this for on the go. And so I need to find the 2025 in the next couple of months so that way I can use it and start updating it. I use a piece of washi tape just to hold it closed because I have some notes in there. But now that I am putting it in the wallet, I don't really need the washi tape. I could just put the notes into the pocket. But this is my on-the-go planner essentially, and I use it to keep track of like all future events, things like that. And so I decided to put that in there. And again, I've got a receipt in there. Hopefully you can see that. And so there are in here receipts and cash and things like that. So all of that will go in here. I'm going to eventually take my wallet and transfer it over as well. And then sneak peek, this is what I set up. But let me talk to you about how I ended up where I ended up with the setup that I've got. So with the Skinny Mini, you might know this, but maybe not. So it is where the Skinny Mini is. Let's see, you can see here it's like basically 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So it's 2 and 10/16. So whatever mathematically that ends up being. I think on the Happy Planner website it puts 2.64, so it's a little bit shorter than 2 3/4. Okay, so 2 and 10/16, just like I said. So it's 2 and 10/16, and all right, 7 inches in height. Okay, so that's skinny mini, again, like a little less than 2 3/4, 2 10/16 and by 7. Now with this planner that I use, it's basically, let me just measure the cover. It's basically 3 inches in width and 4 1/4 in height. Okay, so a little bit wider, and of course definitely much shorter. Okay, and so those are kind of where, well, I started off with skinny mini, but then I was just like, okay, what else can I kind of incorporate in there? The other big thing is, of course, I've got this planner that I converted to disc bound, and I'll just show you this measurement, and I guess the measurement for the micro. So the planner itself, you can see, is a little bit shorter than the micro pages from the Dollar Tree. So the planner itself is 2 3/4. The Dollar Tree pages are at 3 inches. Okay, and then they're both the same height, so they're both 4 1/16. So hopefully you can see that. So what did I decide to do? I was sitting there for a while. I was going to make the conversion to skinny mini. I have, of course, have skinny mini covers, so I'll just show you one of them. I have actually 2 covers. This one, which is, I'm not quite sure. It had like, this is the inside cover. The front cover was kind of like this coral color with a like a gold flower, line art flower on there. I just like this one just because it's just nice and neat with the black and white theme that I'm kind of like vibing with right now. So I do have covers, but then I decided if I use it just for the skinny mini size, right? If I have just skinny mini in here, I'm not able to go ahead and take advantage of the micros that I have. So let me just show you what that looks like. You know, I'll put it in there, and actually it works. I could have just done it like that then. I wanted to be able to combine the micros in there as well. And so I decided to, instead of just using the covers, which now that I did that, I realized I could have just used the covers for the Skinny Classic, or the Skinny Mini. But what I decided to do was make a cover myself, right? And so this cover right here is one that I laminated. It is really kind of a terrible lamination job. Basically what I did was cut down a piece of plastic from like packaging from the Happy Planner. So some planners, if you buy it in store in particular, it comes with like that little piece that has like the punched part on the back, and then it wraps around the entire planner. So I cut down one of those to what is basically 3.5, okay, by 7.5. Okay, so I cut it basically a little bit taller, like half an inch taller than the Skinny Mini, and definitely wider. So wider by almost an inch. So not quite an inch, like 3/4 of an inch. All right. So again, my measurements were 3.5 by 7.5 for the inside piece for the packaging. So I cut it down on my trimmer. If you don't have a paper trimmer, definitely just use a pair of scissors. I would, draw the measurements that you need with Sharpie and then just cut it out with a pair of scissors. So I did that. Then I ran it through lamination. Now my laminator must be really struggling, because you can see here, like, it did not do a great job. I had to run it through probably like 5 times. And so that was how I laminated it. The machine itself does 10 mil lamination, so it's the thickness of the Happy Planner, but I don't know, it just doesn't look great. So it must be getting old. It's showing its age a little bit. Okay, but anyway, it's good enough for my purposes of being in here. Actually, let me just show this to you. This happened, see, it's like, it didn't seal. Okay, so definitely a DIY project for sure, but I wanted it to be wider, and I did measure my wallet, and so from the back pocket here to the edge was right at 3.5, and so I didn't want it to be over that, so definitely 3.5. That's what worked for this. And so I did that. I had to punch it with a single hole puncher because I could not find my Crop-A-Dile. I ended up finding my Power Punch Crop-A-Dile after the fact, and so definitely struggled with punching it. I did one kind of fine, but I'm starting to develop arthritis in my hands, and so the second page was so much of a struggle, but I did it. I finally did it. Then I took a pair of scissors and trimmed out the mushroom stems. So that's how I did it. And stuck it in here just for a test to see what it looked like, and I thought it looked great, minus the lamination portions of it. I did two covers, so this is the back and the front. This one actually did not seal as much, so you can see how big of an air bubble it is, so I decided to use this one as the front cover. There's still an air bubble, it's like this one right here, but I thought that was less egregious than this giant air bubble that's here. But anyway, so I did that. I did decide to put the Skinny Mini cover in here, and now that I'm looking at it and realizing that this actually covers the like micro, I might just use this altogether, but this is just nice to have as protection for my Skinny Mini cover. So I do have a Skinny Mini cover in here. I only put that one cover, and then what I did was went through my stash, okay, and you know, this again, use up your stash, guys. I have all of these random pages. Let me move this back where it goes. All right, and then we'll get back to it. I've got all of these random pages of Skinny Mini stuff, and you know, micro stuff. And so these are just like random ones that I've punched. Okay, so that is I just put that in there for note taking. But I have, for example, these pages from I don't even know when. So they were initially November 2020. I at some point redated them, right, and actually used them, and then I never did anything in terms of decorating with them. So I've got several. I at some point must have used this as my future log, right? So where I'm tracking like events months in advance, right? So that's what I use this little thing for. So lots of notes here. I took a cruise. That must have been, I guess, like 2023 then, because that's when we took a cruise in November. All right, and then here are some pages that I didn't even use, right? And for this on the go setup, what I'm thinking is I'm only going to be using the weeklies. And so I'll tape together any of like the end pages, but you can see here I didn't even use these, right? Like this one, I guess I could use that. I'm just going to adapt, right? So here's my plan. I already have an on-the-go planner, right? So I've already got the on-the-go planner where I keep events. So really the only thing that I need beyond that, where I'm tracking events, right, and all those future appointments, is a place to take notes. All right, so I've got some examples. I've got basically some pages that I pulled off of a coil bound and just punched in here just for notes. All right, so I'm going to take notes. I can take notes here. Just put a piece of washi, and then it's basically blank lines. All right, so I'm going to take notes here. For this, I am probably going to erase it. I wrote this in pencil. I think you can see that, but it is in pencil, and I can just erase it. I can white out the dates here, and then I could just use it as a list. All right, so I'm just going to keep it to be a list making little booklet for on the go. So I can write grocery list, or like things I need to buy. I actually have some lists. These are from Jane's Agenda. I have a couple of sheets of those left. I have also in here some mini pages. Okay, so these mini pages, I'm not quite sure why they were a little bit shorter. They might have come from actually a classic size, a classic skinny. So these are classic skinny pages actually, and you see what I did was basically fold it so that way it fits into the Skinny Mini. Right, I also have some Skinny Mini pages. Again, I'm just gonna take notes on these. This one says prayer list. Just put a piece of like a sticker or a piece of washi over that and just take notes. Right, so I'm just taking notes. I also have some pages that I punched myself, like blank pages. All right, so that will be used for writing as well. And then I have a couple of pages here that my sister actually converted to Skinny Mini. She cut it down from a mini size paper and put it in here, and then some other kind of random bits and bobs, right? But one of the big things that I'm thinking is that I could definitely use down my mini stash, right? This is not a great example because it's not mini, but just imagine it's a mini sheet. What I can do is take the mini, fold it in half and stick it in here, right? And it would work in this setup. I can take my micro pages, all right, and put them, you know, in the back or in the front or in the middle between pages, whatever, and be able to use down this micro stash. I have a ton of micro stuff. I have a very little Skinny Mini, but I definitely have a lot of mini pages. And so this is my goal for doing that, is just to have a kind of like a note-taking spot for on the go. I like to just journal to myself, where, like, you know, if I'm just sitting there at a doctor's office and I think of things that I need to do, I can absolutely put it in my phone, but I like to write things by hand, right? So this wallet, I feel like I've covered the planner quite a bit. The wallet I purchased on Amazon. I have not been able to find it again. I will link it still just so you can see what it looks like, but when I checked it yesterday, it was listed as unavailable. I will go ahead and link it just in case it comes back in stock for whatever reason, but I love this thing. So like I said, it's a crossbody purse. It has two pockets here, and a coin pocket, right here where you can put coins. There are basically 12, like 6 on this side, 6 on this side for card slots. You can put cash in here, of course, and because it is a crossbody, it will stay upright, so you can definitely put cash in here and not worry about it falling out. What I do is actually put my phone in here. With a phone, it's very, very tight, and so definitely do not really recommend putting the phone in here, but if you have a skinnier, like a thinner phone, it would fit just fine in here, because of the width of it, but just with the planner it gets really, really tight. Okay, so just imagine it kind of being like that, and it's very, very difficult to close at that point. Okay, but with the planner it closes just fine, just the planner by itself. Okay, so I do have, like I said, this planner as well as these notes right here. It does have 2 ID pockets right here, which I don't put my ID here just because, you know, if I'm showing it on YouTube, definitely don't want to have my ID there. So I put basically like a decorative card in here. I'll do all that later. And then it does have a pin loop here. And this pin loop I basically put in like a ballpoint pen or some pin with like a clip on it. Just grab some examples just to show you. This pen is an Eddings pen. It's kind of like a felt tip marker. You can absolutely put this in here, right? And that's totally fine, and it closes just fine as well, right? I actually do like that. So the skinny one totally works. This one though has the clip on it. This one has the clip on it too. I could have done that, right? But I like to just clip it by the clip instead, mostly just because it's easier to pull in and out. I'm not really struggling with it. If I'm actually wearing it and taking notes, you know, it's just easier to not have to struggle with it. The pin does fit this way though, as you can see here, so it does fit that way. It's like sitting right on that edge, and it makes it harder to close a little bit, I think. And so I put it where it's with the clip, and it just kind of has a little bit more wiggle room, the pin does, to kind of move where it needs to when I close it. But yeah, either way works. It has to be a skinnier pin. It can't be one of the fat pins that you have. And so, oops, and see, just like that, you know, it's just a little bit harder to pull when you put it all the way in, so I just like to clip it. Okay, and then this is a back pocket that is where the budget binder was. Again, this was a cash envelope crossbody purse / wallet type deal, and so I took out the binding mechanism, like 6 rings for the budget binder, and I just put in a back cover here. Let me see if I can show you. It is like this back cover, and then what I ended up doing was taping another piece of plastic, like this plastic that I used, not laminated, but just like a regular piece of plastic. I used a bunch of permanent tape, and then I put it in there. Actually, I attached it to the rings. And then I slipped it back there, lifting up this top edge as high up as possible, and then sliding it in as far down as I needed to. And then I basically just left that piece of plastic in there. So this is kind of like, if I needed to, let me just show you. I can take the planner itself out, right? And there's this piece that kind of holds it in place so that it's not wiggling all the time. Now with this size, I could have just slipped the entire thing in there, and it would have been totally fine. It's not a lot of wiggle, but like with the micro, when the micro was in here, it just kind of moves back and forth, right? So I just liked having it, but definitely with like the full size, like if I'm using the full width, it's not necessary, right? I don't have to use that piece. I can just slip it in there, which I just did. And so that works totally fine, right? So I'm gonna put a pin in there, so that way you can kind of see the whole thing closed. It does have to stay on mini discs, so these are just mini black discs that I had in my stash, and I close it up like that, and it fits just fine. So you can kind of see it, like see the pen and see the planner and everything else, but it looks like a purse. So I absolutely love this thing, like I said. And now I'm set up. I'm gonna start it today, and you know, it's a mid-month kind of addition to my lineup. I in fact have been cleaning out my planner space because of all of these organization videos that I've been recording, the craft tour, planner space tour, and I have gone ahead and set up 2 additional planners. So you will see that in the next video. I'm excited about that. But for this video, I wanted to chat with you about on the go, using up your stash, what I was thinking, and just, you know, seeing a little peek into how I think about the process of using up my stash. So that's what that is. So that is all. So if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, and until the next video, bye guys.